when somebody calls you and says, hey, I got a gig for you, pays $500, and you take that gig, and all of a sudden you get home and your check bounces, you got to go through a process. When you have an agency, you just call the agent and go, hey, the check bounce, go do your job, and hang up the phone. And that agency will sue them. That agency will fucking
They'll get it out of them.
They won't. They'll
pull all their talent.
Their talent. So now people call me and they'll go, hey, man, I got this gig for you. It pays this. And I'll go, you got to call CAA. And they're like in shock. They're like, well, can't we do it off the books? I go, nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing with me is off the books. Everything runs through CAA. Some guy approached me a month ago. I have a movie for you. I can give you this amount. I go through CAA. He goes, I really didn't want to go through an agent. Then I go, you're really not real.
No, you're not real.
You're not real.
Because you know CAA's not going to play no shit.
No, they're not going to. Any agent. Coloring book, Daniel Hoff,
doesn't matter.
Fucking innovative. I'd rather them go through them. It's like, listen, in my world, I give you $10,000. You're going to pick up a kilo. If you get mugged on the way there, Brendan, as much as I love you,
that's on you.
We got to set up a payment plan right now. That's my 10 G's. Well, you got beat up. They broke your arm. Next time, bring new chucks. I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
Yep.
But that's my 10 G's.
Which I found out. I'm sure I can tell this story. I have a good buddy who's in the dark side of business, and he got pinched. And he was telling me, we're talking about it, and he goes, I'm in for, let's say, $1 million. He goes, I got pinched, in for $1 million. I go, oh, not that big of a deal. He goes, no. So the government takes that, right? I have to pay them $1 million. But that stuff that I was responsible for, that means I can make $2 million, because I gotta get that money back to these guys who I was pushing the ship for. So it's gonna cost me $2 million. So I had to come up with something to get $2 million. I was like, damn, you live a crazy life, my man.
So that's why
he was stressed.
Yeah. Now you're responsible. You know why, Brendan? Because when I was really hungry, I don't know how many times I came home, put a check in the bank, went to fucking get a sandwich, and the check bounced. I can't tell you. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, it got to the point where I would tell people cash. There's a fucking famous story. And we're best friends now. Joe Malash is Gabriel's manager. We're best friends. I love Joe Malash.
Gabriel
Iglesias' manager.
Yeah, he's great.
One of the best guys in the business. And Joe used to book Bakersfield theaters and stuff. And one night, it was Valentine's Day. Joe calls me at 5. And he goes, I got this gig. Somebody canceled. It's $500. Look, $500 in those days to me was...
How long ago is this, Joey?
This is 2001. It was me and my girl's first Valentine. So the deal was, I said to him on the phone at 5, I go, I'm going to take the gig. But when I get up there, it's 5 Benjamin Franklins. Yeah. I get up there, I do the show, and this motherfucker gives me a check, and I threw it back at him. And this is when I was knee deep in a G-Bo of coke a day. I already called the drug dealer and told him I was coming on the way down with the balance of this check. With the 500 cash. He went to give me a check and I threw it at him. And I attacked him.
Oh, damn.
And they had to separate us. And the headliner goes, forget it. I'll give you the 5 out of my pocket.
That's hilarious.
The headliner gave me the 5 and he kept the check. And for a long time, that was a running story. And now we're best friends.
That's
I apologize to him.
I apologize.
I had to. But that's how serious I was. I was to the point where, listen, why are you giving me a check?
Have you ever had any gigs where they just didn't pay you, Joey? When you were coming up? Obviously not now. Good luck with that now.
I had gigs where people try to run game. Brendan, I'm going to give you $500 to do this theater and a plane ticket. And then the theater is 3/4 packed. And when you get to the hotel, you at the gig, I'll call you in the hotel room and I'll pay you then. And all of a sudden, a half hour later, your door knocks. And they open up the door, and pretty soon they're telling you, man, I got to tell you what happened. The radio money, they wanted all their money up front. So I know I told you 5, I'm going to give you 4, but I'll catch you on the next one. That was happening a lot. And that was tough to explain. It was tough to live with. But I had I needed that $400.
Yeah.
And then what happens is there's a day that you go, no, I'm not taking those no more. And you have to stick to your word, even if you're starving.
On principle.
Even if you're hungry. I had a situation 8 years ago, right before I met Lee, right before this whole thing started. I was doing something. I was doing a podcast with Felicia, and I started getting a little bit of heat. I was selling 100 tickets a show. And I got a call from a guy one day, and he goes, hey, I'll give you $200 to come up and do the show. When I get up there, he was charging 25, and I was the guy from the longest yard.
Oh, hell
and,
no.
And VIP greet and meet, you know. And I'm like, and I did it, and on the way home, I go, this guy pulled a quick one on me.
Yeah.
So he called me 3 months later. He's like, let's do it again. We did great. I go, yeah, you did great. Now the dough is 80% of the door. This is before an agent, anybody. I was in no position to ask for 80% of the door. I go, it's 80% of the door. And he goes, all right, I got to get back to you. I got to talk to my partners. So I talked to a friend of mine, Rick Ramos, and Rick Ramos goes, what did you tell that kid? He says you get a little bit too big for your britches. And I didn't say nothing to the kid. Well, once this revolution started, I saw him at the store about 3 years ago. And I went up to him like a man. I go, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. I go, you got 5 minutes? I go, you remember when I did that gig for you for the small 200? Yeah, yeah. And I go, remember when that you called me the next time and you said 80% of the door and you said I was getting too big for my britches? I go, no, I wasn't getting big for my britches, but this was the result.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Because I started turning down shitty gigs
because
and waiting.
Yeah.
You know, in 2007, there was a strike in this town. I used to work on a movie once a month or a TV show. People would just call you. Hey, what are you doing tomorrow, Brendan? I got a scene. It's a jailer. It's you and fucking Tony Soprano. It's 2 minutes. I'll give you $800. I would do all those. But then when the strike came, I started getting YouTube movies.
Is that the writer strike you're talking about? Yeah. Which writers make the world go round, by the way?
Yeah, there's nothing without them.
Yeah, so there was a writer's strike. So when they came back, a lot of work went away to different other countries. Like Canada started shooting and, you know, Virginia. So it got away from here. So every movie I shot from 2008 to 10 was a $100 a day movie. That means you got to bring your own clothes. Jesus. Since it's $100 a day, that you're a strip club owner. They're not going to let you shoot in the daytime. So you got to go in there when they're closed at 2 a.m. Now you're up all night for what?
And you were just doing that to pay the bills at the time?
At the time, I was doing that to supplement. You got 7 forms of income. You know, you got stand up. I had my stand up. I had opening up for Rogan, and I had film and TV. That was my stream of income. So I would get my own work. I would open up for Rogan from time to time, and then I was doing movies. And one day I went right over here to the NoHo Diner. Some guy took me out. And I want to do this with you and do this with you. And it's a series, a mini-series. And I go, who else is in this thing? They told me all these bums and losers that were in it. The guy that was next to me was only in it because his brother-in-law was putting up the money. That type of shit. And I went home and I made a constant choice. I said, I'm not doing those no more.
You're done with it.
For a year, I kept getting calls. And they were like 500, 300, 1,000. And I would go, I'm not doing it. And finally, one day I got a call to do the Stallone De Niro movie. And I go, this is what happens when you stick to your guns.
Yep.
You have to stick to your guns.
Yeah, no is a powerful word. And just so the listeners know, too, whenever, especially with Torque, he's been in the business so long, Joey gives me more advice on touring and where to go, where to say no than anyone I know.
Why not? Because
you're great.
I sat here and I watched 20,000 careers go down the tube. And for all different various of reasons. Sure. I saw careers go down because of drugs. I saw a lot of careers go down because of wrong management. And I saw a lot of careers go down because of the hustle. The shuffle is Lee Syatt. It's got a great 20 minutes. He goes to the Improv one night. A certain agency and management see him. They get him a Montreal showcase. Lee Syatt goes to Montreal. They give him a $500,000 deal. He's going to do a show. He's been doing comedy 3 years. What show is he going to give you?
Yeah.
Oh, I come from a Jewish house. My mother smacked me when I was 4. You know, the show don't go. Lee gets $250,000 after taxes and his commissions.
Which ain't shit.
But now I send him out for 4 things. He don't book them. And guess what? He ain't selling tickets.
Yep.
So now you go to the bottom of the pile in the agency. Now it's Lee's decision on what he's going to do. Does he pack up and leave? Or does he push through and do stand-up and forget about the TV show?
Yep.
You know, they had those people for a while that were just putting you through a tomato grinder. And these people, out of all those $500,000 deals, a lot of them are gone.
We're going in like fucking Marines, you understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.